Natural Disaster Survival is a game that's been out for many years. And did you know that it actually references a real-life tragedy? Yeah, in the map Sunny Ranch, it's this giant red barn and farm area. And if you go inside the barn, you'll notice a lantern here. And when the disaster is fire, it's this exact lantern that causes the entire fire. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, this is a reference to the Great Chicago Fire in 1871. Oh geez, the entire barn is catching on fire very quickly now. Yeah, in the Great Chicago Fire, it all started with a lantern being lit in a farmhouse. The story goes that it was actually a cow that knocked over the lantern and started the fire. And yeah, with that, the fire would expand for over 3.3 square miles. Yeah, this is the cottage of the family where the lantern fire started. And yeah, the entire neighborhood was stacked with wooden buildings and industry. This all caused the fire to just spread rapidly. Yeah, pretty much over 17,000 buildings were destroyed from this, which all of that and damages cost $5.7 billion in today's time. Yeah, it didn't help that a lot of the buildings, sidewalks, and roads were mostly made out of wood. This just caused great destruction all over the place. Over 100,000 people were left homeless, which was about 1/3 of the city's population. Although I will say, the whole destruction, while terrible, did lead to the city's improved buildings. Like, because of the fires, the first skyscraper ever made was invented. And not only that, Chicago continued to make skyscrapers all across the city. But still, a horrifying event that did leave 300 people dead. And it's crazy that such a popular game would reference this. But that's not the only Roblox game that references real-life disasters. Yet there's this game called When The. And now this game is pretty much a parody of natural disaster survival. But one of the maps you could choose in this game is called the crash site. And that picture there is actually the real-life picture of the Hindenburg disaster, the Zeppelin airship that would unfortunately perish in the year 1937. Yeah, before it was called crash site, it actually did used to be called Hindenburg. But yeah, this map pretty much just shows the whole aftermath of the Hindenburg. It's actually kind of morbid in a way because this did actually happen in real life. The Zeppelin did end up perishing. So yeah, there's the wireframing of the Zeppelin. Here are some of the parts from the airship. Also notice that the disaster is called wildfire. So right here, the entire ship is going to catch on fire again. Yeah, I imagine this game had to change its name because it's probably considered very offensive. But yeah, the Hindenburg was a German ship that was heading to the United States, New Jersey. But while attempting to land, the Hindenburg would suddenly catch on fire and crash. Yeah, I'm not going to show the actual disaster, so I'm just going to show this Roblox version of the fire. But yeah, it only took about 30 to 40 seconds for the entire Zeppelin to catch on fire. And as for the whole fire starting, it's not exactly known what happened, but there are many theories that it was likely a spark that ignited the hydrogen gas within the airship. And as for the casualties, of the 97 people that were on board, 35 ended up dying, with one ground crew member dying as well. Yeah, there's many pictures and footage about the event. This footage right here actually contributed to the widespread fear of airship travel. Yeah, also you may have heard the famous saying, "Oh, the humanity." Yeah, that was famously said during a live radio announcement about the situation. Alright, but another strange disaster map that can also be found in this game is literally just called Chile. And the reason for this map is because if you don't know, Chile is a country that often experiences high magnitude earthquakes. Like literally in the disaster options, one of the disasters is literally just called Chile, and it's literally just a massive earthquake that occurs. Yeah, you saw that the entire map just blew up from that. And everything is still shaking. No, that is insane. Yeah, literally in the Chile map, everything's already kind of caught on fire. The towns can easily be destroyed. Literally, the entire land can just easily crumble with an earthquake or a volcano erupting. Yeah, look, the entire map is literally just falling off. No! No! I survived at least. And now, while the Chile map and the disaster don't really point to any specific earthquake, it did remind me of the giant earthquake in Valdivia, Chile, which occurred in the year 1960, when this entire area was struck with a 9.5 magnitude earthquake, which was the strongest earthquake ever recorded on Earth. A typical non-dangerous earthquake lasts for 5 to 10 seconds long. This earthquake would last for 10 minutes. Like, someone even made an animation another earthquake occurring, yeah, the earthquake would trigger a massive Pacific-wide tsunami with waves up to 82 feet tall, which, yeah, would also strike the coast of Chile. And not only that, these tsunamis would also reach Hawaii, Japan, the Philippines, New Zealand, and even the US West Coast. Yeah, because of the earthquake, it left 2 million people homeless, and with a death toll estimate of 1,000 to 6,000 people. Thankfully, there hasn't been another earthquake that size again, and let's just hope another one never actually happens. Another thing about this game is that you can actually choose which maps you want to play next, and one of these options used to be called the Forbidden Hotel. Now, this hotel actually got completely removed, so I'll just let Flamingo take over.
Oh god, what is Forbidden Hotel? The Eps. Oh no, you can't. Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't even. I don't associate with any of these, with anything in this game.
Yeah, the creator of this game thought it was a good idea to make this into a map, and not only that, leave a picture of this guy. I'm not gonna go into detail on this one, but I do want to talk about this map here. Not regular show, Raid Harbor. And yeah, upon joining this map, it's literally a recreation of the US naval base Pearl Harbor. And if you think this is a stretch, well, there is actually a disaster called napalm bombing, which, yeah, you see all those airplanes in the sky? Yeah, they just straight up start dropping bombs. But they just destroyed everything in seconds. Like, everything that's left is just on fire. And they're still going. There's nothing left here. But yeah, obviously this is a reference to the attack on Pearl Harbor, which occurred in 1941 when Imperial Japan attempted to cripple the US. Yeah, the attack started at 7:55 a.m. There was over 350 planes being sent to attack the base, and in total, this would last for 1 hour and 15 minutes. Over 300 aircrafts were destroyed or damaged. Yeah, many casualties and losses occurred during this event. Yeah, it was because of this event that the US would enter World War II, and to see this as a full-on Roblox game, it does kind of leave a weird feeling to me, if I'm being honest. But again, that's not the only strange map in this game, because this game also has the recreation of Alcatraz, the infamous maximum security prison that would hold inmates too dangerous or high risk for other prisons. Yeah, Alcatraz is a real place slash island in the San Francisco Bay. It is very isolated and closed down now, but what made Alcatraz so popular was its harsh conditions and tight security, as well as being surrounded by strong cold currents. And again, the fact that it was just in the middle of an island pretty much meant that it was nearly impossible to ever escape this prison. Again, it had the most dangerous high-risk prisoners in here. 36 inmates did attempt to escape. Most of them were either caught or killed. But the most infamous inmates that tried to escape was that of Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers. Yeah, they tried to escape in the year 1962, and they would actually sculpt dummy heads from handmade paper mache to pretty much make a dummy version of themselves so they could put underneath the blankets, so that way the guards would think that nothing was happening. Meanwhile though, they would escape from a hole they would make inside the vent. And yeah, they did manage to escape the prison and actually board a raft. They would launch it and head towards their objective, Angel Island, which was 2 miles to the north. The FBI would put out wanted posters for these men, but they were never actually found. There's theories on if they actually survived or if something tragic ended up happening to them. The FBI investigators believe that there's no way they could have survived the turbulent currents and frigid waters. People also said that these were shark-infested waters, so something far worse could have happened to them. But again, we don't really know the answer to this because they were never actually found. They could have successfully escaped for all we know. And as for Alcatraz, it would eventually close a year later after these guys escaped in the year 1963. Now it's pretty much just like a ghost island. You can actually tour the area, but many actually believe it to be haunted, especially Cell Block D, a prison area where people reported seeing the Thing, which was a shadowy figure with glowing.
The people saw a thing with a shadow, everything, and with glowing eyes in the prison. What the fuck? It was a reflection or a guy blanking people. Covered his eyes was white, when he slept a lot and his eyes was glowing as hell.
eyes. Tower,
The
otherwise
cover-
known as Copyright Tower. I guess the developer changed the name because they didn't want to be struck by Disney. But yeah, this map is actually based off of the popular Disney ride, the Tower of Terror. But yeah, in this ride, it pretty much simulates you being in an elevator. You'll see ghosts and other paranormal beings. But the most frightening part is that this ride simulates an elevator plummeting multiple stories. Yeah, so here they're up high, then they go down, then they go back up, and then... And I will say this map does give an accurate representation of the ride. Here's the elevator that you can get on, and it actually does end up working. And now while this ride hasn't had any reported deaths, there has been a few minor incidents. Like for example, in 1998, there was a minor accident where the car would drop a few feet just like normal, but then the force from the car would snap both of the elevator cables, causing the car to free fall one floor down before the emergency brake activated. Yeah, this sent 7 individuals to the hospital. Again, luckily everything ended up being fine, but still pretty scary.
Really
Honestly,
scary.
being in an elevator sometimes does make me nervous. I hate the idea of being trapped in an elevator, or even worse, free falling in an elevator. That's just terrifying to me. But again, luckily no major accidents occurred with this elevator. Anyways, if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. Goodbye.
Bye. Goodbye.